Hello, friends, and welcome to The Pursuit. This is a channel dedicated to those who are seeking to make a better life for themselves, their families, and their communities. Tonight, I have an awesome interview with a gentleman named Raymond Stevens. He is a friend that I met a couple years back, and he's trying to do big things for his community. The video is about 30 minutes long, so if you don't plan on staying for the whole thing, I just want to let you know Raymond is trying to raise money to build a school in his community in Sierra Leone, Africa. So links for that GoFundMe and all of his socials will be in the description for the video. Enjoy. All right. Hey, we're together here today with my friend Raymond Steven. Raymond, how are you doing?
Well, I'm doing pretty good. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me.
Hey, I'm
Thank
excited to
you.
have you on the channel today. And I just want you to know how much I respect what you're doing and this friendship that we've kind of built over the last couple of years. And so I'm really happy that you agreed to come on today. Let me introduce you to my audience, and we'll see if we can garner a little bit of support for what you're doing. But if you wouldn't mind, just take a few minutes and give us an introduction about who you are and where you're from and what you're doing now.
Okay. Yeah, once more, thank you for having me. And I'm grateful for the opportunity that I have, to come to this channel today and to share my story. Well, as he said, my name is Raymond Stephen, and I'm from Sierra Leone, West Africa. What I would say, I'm a dreamer, somebody who I may not be sure, but I'm not afraid to try, and growing up, I didn't have it all. Growing up was really tough. I could say it was really tough. I didn't have a lot of opportunities. I didn't grow up, having it all. So, but I was just one person who believed that, I saw a lot of, growing up, I saw a lot of things that didn't make sense to me. I saw, poverty. I saw a lot of challenges. So I always had that, one day I hope that I could get the chance to be able to make a difference. And so right through my life, it got to a point I got a chance and did a voluntary work for my church in Nigeria. So when I came back, you know, I I didn't know how to start life, but I was able to reach out to a family. They'll be like, okay, I think I have this passion for my country. I want to be able to help my people, but I'm looking for opportunities. I'm looking for ways, and I feel that the only opportunity I needed at that time was education, because education is an equalizer. Education is the only thing that a man like me will use to change my story. So I told those people that I need a chance to be able to not to get a better education. And I was like, okay, fine. So I told them my story, and they were happy to give me the chance. They said, you know what, we'll sponsor you to come to America to come to school. And when I got here, I look at life here and life back home. I mean, I would have just settled here and say, okay, oh, let me face life in America. But I tell you, with every bit of my heart, and it was a promise I made to myself that when I come to America, that every class I take, every classroom I enter, it has to do with whatever I'm learning there. How can I use it to help my people? That's one thing that has really been pushing me. Like whatever I'm learning, I don't just take class. Every of my conversation, every opportunity I have to learn, it comes with that desire that how can I use this to help my country? Because I'm coming from a place where you know, there are a lot of needs all over the place. And instead of just sitting there and complaining, the government is not doing this, they're not doing this. I think that, as an individual, equally, I can also, contribute to make sure that the country I want, the country I want my children to someday be proud that, okay, I'm from this country. My father made a legacy. He did this. So for the most part, I think that's just my life. I grew up, it was very tough, with faith and hope and also dreaming. I got the chance to, a kind-hearted people who gave me the opportunity to come to America. So I think for the most part, that's it. I came from a large family, divided family. My parents were divorced. My mom, she's late in her second marriage. She has a lot of children. So for now, in my family, I will say I'm the one who has come this, I will say I'm the one who has reached this peak in life. So everybody look up to me. Everybody, wants me to succeed. Because one thing in Africa, your success is a family thing, is a community thing. Your success is a community experience. Your success is a family experience because every other person look up to you. So I'm not only here for myself, but I'm here for my country, my family, and above all, to be able to make a difference in the world. So for the most part, I think that's just a little
Yeah,
thing about me as a person.
that's great. So, what you just said there, actually, your belief system and mine are very similar in that you said a success for you is a success for your family. And I've always felt the same way. I come from a family with 9 kids, and anytime any of my siblings has achieved something, I've always felt like, they're demonstrating to me, they're demonstrating to my children that, we're able to do more. And so I've always pushed for that, and I push my kids for that. And that actually brings us to how you and I ended up meeting each other. So
Yeah.
I have a son who your age was going to school, same school there at BYU Idaho in Rexburg, Idaho, and he was working for an attorney who was connected to a local, it's actually the state fair. And because of COVID, the people who generally did all of the trash cleanup at the fair were unable to do the job, and they offered it to my son with a very short time frame, and he had to try to enlist a bunch of people to help him out. And you were one of the people that stepped forward on short notice. And we got to meet a lot of friends, actually, people from Africa. And there were a lot of students that were from the United States too. But you guys band together. And for a week, you guys did one of the most difficult jobs, I think, that I've seen. And I was there to participate with you guys quite a bit because I believe my son's success is my success and I didn't want him to fail. So I was there too. But that's how you and I got together. And I mean, how would you describe that work experience?
Well, I think the work experience for me, it was not. Yeah, I think. Yeah, the main reason was, I mean, we needed the money, okay. But at the end of the day, I think as a lot of things, like I was able to learn something from that experience. And one thing I learned was, I think I had a chat with you on that. One was, it came like your relationship with your son. I'll tell you, my father will not do what you did. You get the point. You will stay there with us. I mean, you roll off your sleeve. You want to make sure that your son succeed. You will drive us an hour, come, you will come pick us up and all. That was amazing. That was really amazing. That shows that you're a great father. My father will not do that. He will not do that. I told you, my father will not do that. So I felt that, and I was like, man, this man, you know, I think someday I want to be, I mean, I might not be like you, but at least all I will say, that moment you bless me with your personality. For
Oh,
the
that's
most part,
nice.
you really bless me
That's
with, yeah,
nice of
you
you to
bless me with
say.
your personality.
But the reciprocal is we felt blessed by you guys. You you came in and with a little bit, I mean, I would say you guys were very humble about it. I mean, that is not a flashy job. It's dirty, it was nasty. They actually, because the fair was closed the year before for COVID, there was like 25% more people there than had ever been there before. It was a record attendance. And the sheer amount of just garbage, honestly, was completely overwhelming. You guys were coming in, you were working from 9 o'clock in the morning to sometimes 2 o'clock in the morning, and then come
Yeah.
back the next day and do the whole thing over again. And so the respect that I had for you guys, even though it was a short duration for a job, I mean, the group that you guys put together and the way you work together, I thought it was amazing. But there was one moment in that week there that you and I were talking that has stuck with me for the last 2 years since we did that. And for me, I'm kind of overwhelmed. I've seen the fair many, many times. I grew up in the town where the fair is held, so it was every year we would always go. And there were always lots of people and almost, I guess you could say, quite a bit of excess. People are spending extra, they're eating all kinds of crazy stuff. And I just asked you, what do you think about all this? And do you remember what you said?
I think I remember telling you that they're wasting.
Yeah, you.
I think I remember part of it. Like, you know, uh, I, I think I really felt bad, and that's what really triggered that conversation, because I remember that I grew up. There are times in my high school days I could go to school without food. And I could think about there are hundreds of children, hundreds of family who go to bed with an empty stomach. They don't have anything. So, and when I saw that, I was bleeding inside. I was bleeding
Yeah.
inside that, man, this is wastage. There are people who, who are craving for this, but they don't have it. I told you, I wish I could do something about it. I wish I could just,
If we could
take
just take
all
all of the things
the
people were
food and say,
throwing
hey,
away.
and go give my people.
Yeah. There was
You
so much waste there. And it's really the first time I saw it in that light. And really, that kind of changed the way I look at a lot of things, trying to be more resourceful, be less wasteful, be more mindful of maybe how blessed I am to live in a place where we have a little bit of extra. And, even people here, and I've lived in other countries too. I lived in Venezuela where they had kind of a higher level of poverty, certainly than what we experience here at the time I was there. And it's even worse now. But, um, to see that and to just to hear you the way you describe that is I feel sad, and it hit me weird. Like, why would you feel sad? All these people are happy. And your focus was, no, all of this excess and waste could go so far to benefit people that are really struggling. And I appreciate that perspective. It really caused me to think. So it showed me too what kind of heart you have.
No, I mean, to me, I don't, I mean, I'm in America. I can tell you that, I could want to live all the good life, but I feel that, all the great men we celebrate today, you know, we don't talk about the car they drove. We don't talk about the houses they have. We talk about the sacrifices they made. For me, it has always been that it's the human race. It's not about, so that's why I don't care whether you're white, you are yellow or black. For me, it's the human race. It's the human race. So I don't, I try as much as possible to be a small part of someone's life. You don't know what people are going through. You don't know what people are going through. I try as much, and I mean, I'm not perfect, but I try, I want, somebody to say, I think I'm feeling this way because of Raymond. I'm feeling this way. Thank you. People are going through a lot. I could tell you right now, the job I'm doing on campus, I'm working as a student mentor, peer success mentor. We also help, other students. This, like, the job that I'm doing right now has also changed my perspective about, that every day, every person you walk past, every person you walk past, at least a hi or hello will means a lot. People are really going through a lot of things, a lot. So for me, I try to be a small part of someone's life, and whatever, to be kind. Kindness is not expensive. Kindness is not expensive. It's not something expensive. It's one of the cheapest commodity that I think a Heavenly Father gave all of us. We all have beauty in us. Everyone has a beauty. The only thing is to look for it. Everyone has a beauty in their heart. Everybody. There's nobody who doesn't have beauty. Everybody has. Because even God Himself, He's a God of beauty. So He placed beauty in our hearts. It's all for you to look for it. And when you look for it, that beauty is what you will use in making people's life better, because that is the light. The
Yeah.
beauty is the light. Just like where spring is coming, all the flowers are coming out. Everybody's coming out. So that's the beauty. So when you open your heart, your heart will attract a lot of people. So for me, that's just it.
That's great. And I think kindness, love, those are interesting things. You say they're cheap, right? They don't cost much for you. And interestingly enough, you can give away as much as you want and you never run out. You know, it's it's something that we should all focus on, being a little more kind, being a little more understanding, being a little less judgmental of people because people really are going through hard things and we don't know what they're going through. So good advice. I like your perspective. So I want to take just a minute and try to give people just a little perspective about where you're from. So I'm going to share my screen here. And here we have a map of Africa. And I have to actually scroll in just a little bit here to West Africa. Whoop, too far. And here is your country down here. What can you tell us about this little corner of Africa here, Sierra Leone?
What I will tell you, Sierra Leone is the most beautiful country in the world. We are resilient people. This is a country that has, like over the, I think over 2 decades now. The only thing the rest of the world know about Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone had a civil war for 11 years. Sierra Leone has, Ebola, Sierra Leone. So there are, people know us, when it comes to challenges, when it comes to, and our story is really not out there a lot. But I tell you, Sierra Leoneans are the most kind people you could ever come across in the world. We are loving, we love to share. And one unique thing, if you are looking for religious tolerance, I think Sierra Leone, we do it better than any part in Africa. Like for me, my family, we have Muslims and Christians. We do intermarriages without having any religious clash. We attend each other's, celebration. So in terms of religious tolerance, Sierra Leone has done it better than any other country in Africa. We encourage each other. We do intermarriages. There have never been in the history where, religious sect has to, fight each other because of, their beliefs. No, we just see ourselves as, you know, brothers and sisters, irrespective of religion. But there are still challenges, and of course, which they will exist. And even the leadership in the country right now, I feel that for me, leadership is intergenerational, from one generation to the other. So whatever I'm doing now, whatever education I'm getting right now, is to, at the end of the day, is to go back and help that country, because I see myself as the future of that country. And it's only true. We need men and women who have integrity, men and women who want to serve, men and women who puts that it's the common people, So Sierra Leone is an amazing country. If you're looking for where to go and in Africa, go to Sierra Leone. But we have challenges. We have challenges. We're still battling with, uh, um, of course, you have a lot of, poverty and all that. They are there, because of the civil war. And there is much to be improved, in terms of human development, that I'll tell you. But for the most part, if you're looking for people who are kind, people who are loving, I think Sierra Leone is one country you probably want to visit. And we have, in terms of the natural, natural harbor, we have pretty nice place to see. We
Yeah.
have good beaches. We have good beaches. We have um, the Atlantic Ocean is there. We have good food, and our women are beautiful.
That's good for
you
you.
know, yeah. So our women are beautiful. Yeah, so Ireland is just, an amazing. I mean, I'm proud of, coming from that country. We may
Yeah.
not have it all. We may not have it all, but I know that it is us who can be able to tell our story. It is us who can be able to change, the way things are, because leadership is intergenerational, from one generation to another. So I feel that I feel that it's also, you know, like contribute in terms of, how to be able to achieve the Sierra Leone we want. Yeah, and one thing also that for me, I feel that our country is just, I think, 8 million people. We're not much, so we're not really that famous. But I feel that I want Sierra Leone to be represented in the global stage. Everything that happens, I wonder, okay, there's somebody from Sierra Leone. I want us to compete with the world. We might be small, but I want us to compete. So that's it. So that's Sierra Leone is
Yeah.
an amazing country.
So I want to give people some perspective too. I pulled this. I don't know if this is accurate, so I'm going to have you verify, but this website would suggest that the average monthly salary in Sierra Leone would be about $75 US. And if I scroll down, you can kind of see by professions, what people might make, like a university teacher around $95 a month, a school teacher $76, um, you know, game designers, interior designers, really nobody over $100 per month that I'm seeing. Marketing, PR people, in the $60 range. Accountants, there's one of the high ones, 120, maybe down to $86. Would you say, are these numbers representative of what an actual income is like on average for a family in Sierra Leone?
Yeah, I mean, life, and I think it's, looking at we have, like, our economy is small. The economy of Sierra Leone is small. Then looking at, the global, right, looking at how, the world is really troubled, economically, because of, the crisis, COVID, and also the Russian Ukraine war. I think our economy is very, very small. So imagine if like bigger economy, they are also facing, they are also facing, the effect of COVID and also, the crisis. So imagine Sierra Leone with a small economy. So it's really, I mean, we have a lot of people. There are people who cannot even eat a dollar a day. I gotta be honest, there are people who cannot eat a dollar a day. So it's in terms of that, yeah, there are people who get like a whole month, they get like $25. Some people get $50 a whole month. Some people get $100. It depends on what you're doing. So I think there's more work to be done. I feel that there's more. I mean, we really need to do more. It's time for leaders to lead. It's time for the leaders to really lead and make sure that they change the perspective and change the narrative of how things has been in that country.
And that's where I see you stepping up. And I think it is interesting. There's a lot of people who migrate to countries in the United States. Certainly, we've seen a lot of immigration for the last several years for all of us. I mean, my ancestors are immigrants to the United States too at some point, but looking for better opportunities. And people seem to come and stay. I do think some people try to support their families by sending money back. And your story is, you want to take the knowledge, you want to take your education, and you want to go back and make a difference in your country. So I have here, you're doing a GoFundMe right now for a school, and I'm going to pull it up here. And of course, for everybody, I'll share the link to this in the description of the video. But what can you tell us, Raymond, about your fundraiser? It looks like you're looking to raise $10,000. You've gained about $1,400 so far. So you're about 15% towards your goal. So what is your plan here?
Yeah, this is a kid in my village. If you could see the video, my father went to this. This is a village where we have a professor, coming from this village. We have people who have really life is going on for them. At least they have something. Life is going on for them. But I will tell you, none of them has really looked back and say, hey, let me try to be a small part of this. Let me try to be a small part of, help the community. Nobody. So my father went to this village, including my dad. They never thought of like, okay, how could we help this community? So he went to this village and I was like, what's going on? Because I remember when I was small, I visited this village and I was like, hey, have you guys improved on that school? And it was like, no. What are you guys doing? And it was like, what, send me pictures. So when I saw these pictures and videos, I shed tears. We're talking about, this is the 21st century. We're not talking about, where the world is going now, and you have kids in this kind of condition. I'll be like, no, I may not have enough. Part of the little money I received for my tax, this year. So it wasn't really much. As a student who I pay my own tuition here, I pay my rent and everything. But I decided to use $1,000 of my own tax return to kind of like, that's why I started the project. Okay, you know what? I'm going to start this. $1,000 is going to start with, for me. And I was like, okay, now I'm in a country where there's a lot of opportunities. And now I will tell you, I'm somebody who believes in people. If God is going to bless you, God will bless you and the people through the people in your lives. If if Satan is going to have us break God's commandment, it is through the people in our lives. So I got to realize that if I'm going to do this, I have to I have good men and women in my life. I have people who have been amazing to me, and I share some of my teachers. And I was like, and the learning outcome of BYU, the school I'm coming, the learning outcome is to be sound thinkers, to be problem solvers, and to be collaborators. And I'll be like, okay, if this is what you guys are teaching us, I think at this point, I want to collaborate. I have this problem I want to solve. You might not have money, but you have connections. So I engaged some of my professors. I think I engaged about 4 or 5 of them. I went to the offices that I know that this is what you're teaching us. But at this point, I want to use it now. Let me pick your brain. What can I do? I know you might connect me to your friends. Who do you think can help? So I started that engagement. And I tell you, I started that engagement. There are people who donated they didn't post it on the GoFundMe, who gave me money. Like some people sent me check, and so through their friends, and I'll be like, hey. So one of my professor, he also introduced me to. They also have a nonprofit in Ghana that are building school. So my professor told him about, hey, I have this, who has this project. So I got in contact with him, and we had a conversation. We had a chat, and he was like, man, this is amazing. I want to be a small part of this. And then he donated something huge. So I feel that it's more about people. So when I had this vision in my heart, I know I can't do it alone. So I was trusting God, and I was trusting that God will help the good people in my life to kind of like help me do this because it's about my people. I would have used that money maybe right now. I don't have a car. I'll tell you, I don't have a car. I have friends who have cars. I don't have a car because I can't have a car. I know car is very necessary. It's necessary right now. At that point, now this was how it was. It really got interesting. Once when I got my tax return, when I got the money, I was like, oh, right now I don't have a car. I think I need to use this money and buy a car. And that was the time when I had a friend who was about to sell his car. He'd be like, Raymond, even if you don't have the full money, I'll just give me some and then you will pay later. So one Sunday morning, I was like battling with, let me just buy the car or let me just forget about this project. But at the end of the day, I think it was like, no, I gotta do this project. My heart is in this. So instead of like buying that car, so I started the whole project with $1,000. Send money that so and now they have three other communities that don't have good school. Just like so, instead of building the school in that site you saw, so now we're building the school in a different location where three other communities will benefit from that school. So we got the land, I sent money, they brushed the land, so now they're getting the so the project is going on. So hopefully in June, I use part of my money and buy a ticket as a because I need to go down there. I want to. It's not about I just don't want to sit here and be like, okay, no, but I want to go home and fold my sleeve and be part of what is happening to let the people know that I'm interested in them. That it's about home. So that's why I'm going in June. So part of that money, instead of like using it to buy a car, whatever, so I use part of the money to start the project, and then I also buy a ticket so that I can go home and be part of the whole project. And because I know I want the school to be sustainable, I can't be the one to continue to sponsor it. So as I'm going, I'm trying to engage the government because right now the flagship program of the government is free quality education for children. So when I go, I know somebody who knows the Minister of Education. He was a student here in America. He was in Harvard. He's a young man. He has a PhD. So I know someone who knows him very well. So when I go, I want to engage him that, hey, this is what I'm doing. But at this point, I don't think, and I want this, it's not just about building the school, it's about sustainability. And I know the government, you're also helping, schools and everything, giving them subsidies and everything. I want to collaborate. I want to partner with you. What can you do? This is where I am, and I need your help. I can't do it alone. So that's one of the reasons also I'm going home to see how I can, let them know what is happening so that they can be part of it. Because at the end of the day, if I build that school and education in that area improves, it's also going to be a plus point for their government because every government want to provide education for their citizens, of course. It's not about me anymore, it's about the people. And these are the same people who are voting them, into those offices. So I want to go have that engagement so that the school will be sustainable as well. So for the most part, that has been the story behind the foundation and trying to build that school. I have to walk 10 miles to school. I have to walk 10 miles to school every day, Monday to Friday. Monday to Friday. When I was in Bow. So I have to walk from New Police Barracks to Christ the King College. It's a very long distance. If anybody who get the chance to watch this video from Sierra Leone will know that New Police Barracks in Bow to Christ the King College, it's a very long distance. I have to go. So I know what it means. Growing up, I didn't have all the opportunities. So, and I'm in a country where people are willing to give, people are willing to help. So I'm just tapping into those blessings and see how I can help my people because that is the essence about life. I just can't be here and forget about them. So
Yeah.
the school is not about me; it's about them.
I think it's great what you're doing. And I really hope, just knowing you, knowing the type of person that you are, the the way that you show kindness and respect to people around you, and the love that you and some of your friends really express for your homeland. Um, I'm hoping that you're very successful with this. So I'll be asking our audience if they can do anything to help, if they please would. We're definitely going to share your GoFundMe link. And Raymond, I appreciate you coming on today. I feel like your story is very compelling and interesting, and I love that you're out to make a difference for your community. So, are there any things that you'd like to say before we wrap this up today?
Yeah, I think one thing I would say to anybody who get the chance to watch this, this is not about, it's about, helping. We want to help these children, by giving them education. And I tell you, education is an equalizer. Education is the only thing for people like us we could use to change our story. Kindness is not expensive. Even $1 will make a difference. We are blessed that maybe we might have to eat, but someone out there don't have. And the only way we could change the story, the only way we could help those children is through education. And if I'm here today, I've been able to meet, people. It's because of education. So I believe in education too much that if we change our story, if we change the modern continent, Africa, it's only education. Because when you have men and women, and that's why even my major, when I got to America, this is another interesting thing. Most of my friends were like, "You got to do computer science, you got to do, nursing, you got to do one of the STEM majors." But I was like, that's not what I want. I don't want to do STEM major. So I think for me, my major as a student here, I'm doing public policy. And I look at the quality of our lives as a people. It depends on policy. It depends on, what government can do and what government cannot do. So if you have men and women who are thinking of the next generation, whatever policy they are putting in place, it has to do it's for the people. So I think that's one of the struggle in Africa. The men and women who are at the end of affairs, because they don't really know what they're doing. So for me, I feel that, in a position where I can make decision for people. I want to be able to make an intentional decision when, kids in that local village, when they get to read whatever policy we'll put in place, they will see that no, these guys made this policy thinking about me. They made this policy because they want to give me a future. They make this policy because they want to give future to my children. So that's why I decided to major in public policy, because I feel that it has to do with policy. It has to be having men and women who could think and say, how can we come together as a community? How can we, collaborate and solve problems and help, whatever, if we're going to help ourselves, we should be able to be the one to bring the solution, not, somebody from somewhere, we should be able to be the ones to kind of like come up with solutions. Of course, you can collaborate with other people. I believe in inclusion. That's why I'm including everyone. That's why when I had this idea, your son, he's a great guy, and I was like, let me reach out to him and, hey, this is what I'm doing. And he was so like, for sure, I will share it with my dad. So that's just it. I believe in inclusion, and nothing is too small. Nothing is too small, and we could be able to make a difference in these children's life. And I know that, you know, it has always been for God, for family, and for country. So I love you, and thank you very much for this opportunity. And for those, listeners who will appreciate anything, if there's, and this is the other thing again, if there's an organization that want to take over the project to do it, I'm open for it, because I know there are a lot of non-profit organizations who are building school around the world. So maybe if you are listening, you know the right people that can help. I'm also open to that. Maybe an organization say, okay, sure, we want to take over the project. I'll be happy to let them do it. I'll work with them to let them do it. So that's just what I want to say. Thank you very much, and
Yeah.
God bless you.
Thank you. And the only thing I would ask from you, Raymond, is as your project progresses, if you want to come back and show us the progress that you're making, I would love to have you back anytime. And I hope that God will bless your quest for this one, because it sounds like a very worthy cause. I know what kind of a person you are. I know you're a good, honest person. And so I hope that that this blessing comes to you, that you're able to fulfill your goal. So
Yeah, sure. I'll be happy to do that. That's why it's not, I'm sharing this with everybody so that they hold me accountable. And I'll also send a link to, I'll send you the link. I have a LinkedIn page, I have Instagram page, and I have Facebook page. And
okay.
I'm traveling to Africa in June, so hold me accountable. because
no problem.
accountability matters. You know, it
We'll add
matters.
all of those links, to the description, and people can jump in and learn more about what you're doing. So I appreciate you taking the time, and audience, I appreciate you guys taking the time to listen. And please let us know what you think in the comments. If you think that there's other resources that Raymond could use to bring his goal to fruition, please leave them in the comments. He'll be reading them right along with me, I'm sure. So have a great night, everybody. Raymond, thank you so much, and hope to see you on here again soon.